Dawn, I am Vera Super with you on this edition of the program. Well, today we want to look at the local government and national development in Nigeria. If we look way back where local government reform started in 1978, you could see that, hey, we need to do loads of reforms. We need to look at it and change some things in it. And also looking at development. When we say local government, we're looking at the grassroots, people from the grassroots. How are they fit into the whole system, into the whole body called Nigeria? So we want to look at the local government development in Nigeria. How far have we gone? If you think we've done well, the lines will be open during that segment. Away from the local government, we're going to look at the papers this morning. We'll review the papers this morning, opening the phone lines for you to call, make your contribution. Once again, good morning to you. We go on this break, and when we come back, we take some of the stories making the rounds in the national dailies. We'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us. Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. It's the newspaper review segment. But before we go into that segment, Anthony, good morning to you.
Good morning, Vera. Good morning to the world. It's very good Thursday, a throwback Thursday.
It's a Thursday morning, yes. We're going to go straight to the newspaper review segment. I want to start with the Punch newspaper. The first story here is Plateau massacre. Jos protesters chase officials, stun vehicles, offices in government house. I think I need to take that story because it's in all of the stories, all of the papers this morning. And the writer says, military arrests 3 suspects for the killings. This is sad, where children, pregnant women, mothers, husbands, uncle, were, oh God. It is difficult this morning to talk about the massacre in Jos. Jos is a place I'm familiar with, and looking at what is happening in Jos, if you know the story very well, even when Boko Haram started, you saw that some of the Jos community were actually safe, and loads of people coming from Borno entered Jos for safety. But right now, with what happened, this is a sad one, but I'm going to take that story. Violent Protests rocked Jos, the capital of Plateau State, on Wednesday, as residents protesting the killings in 3 local government areas of the state by herdsmen invaded the state secretariat, destroying vehicles and buildings. The protests, which started peacefully, turned violent when youth and women damaged some cars parked at the new government house in Jos and other offices. During the fracas, vehicles belonging to Peter Amini, one of the news agency of Nigerian staff, Douglas Francis, also of Core TV, were damaged. The protesters, who had conveyed on the old airport junction and marched to the government house, were initially repelled from getting across access to the premises. Some of them claimed the fence to gain access to government house, forcing security agents at the gates to eventually open it. One of the protesters expressed displeasure over the failure of the Plateau State government to receive them, and that was how this broke out, where they got angry. They wanted to, it was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't peaceful after all.
Well, we are in a democracy, we're in a democratic society, so we have the rights, human rights, to speak, to voice out how we feel about different issues. So yes, they had the right, and it's a good thing that they protested, but then I would not go with the issue of making it violent. The fact that it started peaceful is a good thing, but then I wish they did not go as far as destroying cars and objects and
yes,
all of that.
I don't know if, that story came in. We learned that the whole incident was violent after all, but they went peaceful for that protest, but we don't know how it went off their hands. And hey, but I'm going to read this. I also took that rider the other time. Military arrest 3 for Plateau killings. The Special Military Task Force, code-named Operation Safe Haven, has arrested 17 suspects over the attack of the 11 communities of Bakin Ladin local government area of Plateau State and the protest that followed afterwards. The spokesperson for the OPSH, Omar Adams, who disclosed this at a press conference in Jos on Wednesday, said 3 of the suspects were arrested in connection with the attacks, while 14 others were nabbed for allegedly blocking federal highway to protect the killings by the herdsmen in the state. And they got 3 people arrested for that. Also here in the papers, and it says here, Lagos, not smart city yet, says Oyebode. He said Lagos is not yet a smart city. Okay, we also have here INEC laments youth indifference to politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Wednesday lamented youth indifference and low-level participation in the nation's electoral process, saying there was an urgent need to restore their confidence in the system. So maybe we need to have confidence in that. Definitely. We also have here, and it says it's a vox populi. It says, will closure of land borders curb smuggling? Will the closure of land borders stop smuggling? It was a vox populi, and that's a vox pop. And hey, you can get Punch to read more. This says, Lutz detains baby mother for 4 months over unpaid bills. The husband of the patient of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Idiaraba, Surulere, had said his wife, Busola, and their baby have spent over 4 months in the hospital over unpaid medical bills. Please, someone should help out. Please. And that's a call. Someone should help out. We also have here 4 men accuses police of illegal arrest and detention. A foreman with an engineering firm, Mr. Ayodeji, also has accused the police in Ogun State of illegal arrest and detention. Petrol Punch gathered that the engineer went to see his brother in Ajuon, area of Ogun State, on Friday. He was reportedly arrested alongside his brother and the brother's friend in front of their house. Illegal arrest. And he's saying, hey, that is not too good, you know?
Well, we have human rights. As a matter of fact, we have activists over there that are trying to uphold human rights, yes, human rights, so it will not be violated. You know, we shouldn't just be arrested for no reason, or did they give the reason there why they were arrested?
Yeah, in front of their house.
Yes, why
But
were
why
they arrested?
It wasn't there?
That's what I'm saying. Now, you don't just arrest people without giving reasons, like viable reasons.
Okay, that's their own story. We've not heard from the police side, so we don't come to conclusion. Maybe the police by tomorrow, the police will have something to say about that arrest. But we've not heard from the police side. But from the foreman, the engineer said he was with his friend and his brother's friend outside the house when he was arrested. So we're waiting for maybe the PRO of police Ogun State to tell us what really happened there. Away from that, we have this from Professor Wole Soyinka says, Buhari treating killers' herdsmen with kid gloves. The former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Professor Wole Soyinka on Wednesday knocked President Muhammadu Buhari for doing little to stop killings by herdsmen amidst the general insecurity in that country. Obasanjo, who paid a condolence visit to the governor of Plateau State on Wednesday, said the magnitude of security challenge the country was experiencing under Buhari's watch was the high side when compared to what happened during his tenure. So he's saying you're treating them with kid gloves.
Well, most people in Nigeria, as a matter of fact, the guests that we've had here on this issue, they have been on the side of Wole Soyinka, saying that, okay, the president hasn't done enough or has done very little to curb the menace. But then I think it should be a wake-up call to the president. People are not being satisfied with what he's doing, so it's only a wake-up call that he does something more strict, more direct to curb the situation.
A lot of people are saying, hey, you're not doing enough. But some other persons are saying, you're doing enough. So, but we must get it balanced, and that's what I'm saying. Let's look inwards and see, is the person doing enough? And if he's not, how do you pass this through him? You're passing through to him through this medium. So keep watching us and you can pass your message to him. We have this one. Michael Jackson's dad passes away at 89. Yes. Joe Jackson, the father of the late pop star Michael Jackson, has been reported dead, according to the TMZ. His grandson, Jack Jackson, confirmed the tragic news about the music manager online after he was reported he had passed away at about 3:30 a.m. I know the entertainment industry will talk more on that.
Definitely.
Yes, away finally from the Punch this morning. We'll take one more story, and it's the Law Digest. It says National Assembly perfected budget fraud under Jonathan. Guess who said this? Falano. You can read more in the Punch. Get all of the papers and read more.
Okay, moving on to the New Telegraph's newspaper we have here. Protest rocks Plateau over herdsmen killings. And it comes with a writer that says government officials flee. Soldiers arrest perpetrators of massacre. Daraga Buhari to overhaul security architecture. This one says PDP demands nullification of Oshomole's election. And that's on page 3 of the newspaper. Let's just take that story. This one says the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to nullify the elections of some national officers of the All Progressives Congress because it violated the 2010 Electoral Act as amended. Over 10 APC national officers, including the national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, were elected unopposed at the National Convention. And it says Section 85 of the Electoral Act amended, it says, the election of members of the executive committee or other governing body of a political party, including the election to fill a vacant position in any of these bodies, shall be conducted in a democratic manner and allowing for all members of the party or duly elected delegates to vote in support of the candidates. Well, I think on this issue, this is an allegation saying, okay, this election wasn't done the right way and it should be nullified by INEC. I think I wouldn't want to talk much about this. I guess we need a lawyer who knows the law, the Constitution, to tell us more now. Tell us more. This one says, herdsmen's killing, Buhari to overhaul security architecture. And this is coming from Daraga.
Coming from who, please?
Dogara.
Okay.
It says President Muhammadu Buhari is considering the reorganization of nation's security architecture to stop further killings of innocent citizens. Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara disclosed this yesterday after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. The meeting, which centered on discussion of Saturday's killings in Plateau State, was also attended by the President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki. I think this is a good one. It's the fact that the nation's security system is, I wouldn't want to make any allegations, but then I only feel it's a good thing that we step up the security. The architecture somehow should be restructured. And if the country, as Mr. President Buhari is saying, does not need that, though he accused those that are clamoring for restructuring as people who just want to use it for their own gains. But then if the country does not need restructuring, I think the security agencies need one, because if all of these things could be happening without any form of direct interjection, then I believe, yes, I'll go to the president here. The architecture needs to be restructured so the operations can be upgraded. This one says, Julius Berger introduces innovative solutions to road constructions. For the purpose of delivering high-quality infrastructure projects, Julius Berger Nigeria PLC has introduced cold recycling methodology, a highly innovative and value-driven solution for roadworks, according to the managing director of the Nigeria's flagship construction company, Wolfgang Goethes. This was hinged on the firm's increasing commitment to deliver highest quality solutions for Nigeria's future infrastructure around needs. I would advise that you go and check the front page, not the front page, 2 of the New Telegraph newspaper to see more of that story. This one says, NLC to Oshomole, align APC manifesto for workers' welfare. Well, first things first, you know, the NLC was being was being governed by Oshomole himself, and at that time, he did very well.
At that time, when he was the NLC chairperson, it was tough then, when you say Oshomole and you say NLC. But then there were not loads of fracas loads of disagreements amongst them. But these days, you don't know which part of the NLC you're even talking with. I just pray that they settle that so that
NLC,
we can ULC, we can see properly which one.
Okay, I'll just take a story. It says, Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, yesterday paid a solidary visit to the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Comrade Adams Oshomole, asking him to align the party's manifesto for the welfare and aspirations of the workers. President of NLC, Comrade Ayuba Waba, who explained that they came to congratulate one of their own, said the NLC had long waited for an occasion like this, adding that workers in the nation will ensure that they give Oshomole all necessary assistance to succeed. Now, the NLC is saying they are going to give...
Well, yeah, the NLC had said that they are putting their weight behind the new chairman, is new right now, of the APC, national chairman. And let's see how it goes. It's just started, and let's see how he will perform.
Yes,
I guess the party wants someone that can perform more better, and that's why they brought him in. Definitely,
but then the NLC is a body, not even a political body, coming to say they are going to back up their former member.
We don't know their constitution.
Putting in place that there are definitely some PDP members in the NLC. So
but we don't know their constitution. We don't know how the NLC operates. And so if they are saying they want to support or they are putting their weight behind him, we don't know what that's about. But we're waiting for someone to tell us. If you know, you can call in to tell us, hey, they are not supposed to or they are supposed to do so.
This one says, FG, federal government dismisses poverty reports on Nigeria. OK's jump CBT, the writer says, OK jump CBT Center purchase free trade zones. The federal government has dismissed the recent World Poverty Clock report by Brookings, Institute, which estimated that 87 million Nigerians were currently living in extreme poverty. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Enelama, while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council FEC yesterday, said the data used by the Ratings Institute was based on lagging economic indices when Nigeria was under recession.
Okay, so it's not now. Are they saying that it's better now? Is he saying that Nigerians
well, he's just saying
they have enough to eat? Is he saying that Nigerians are very comfortable? Is he saying when you go to the market, things are so affordable?
Cheap and affordable.
For him to say that data is incorrect. I'm beginning to wonder what is happening here. Maybe things are now cheaper and we're not aware of that.
And if he's saying that, okay, the report wasn't correct, on the report it's saying 87 million Nigerians were living under poverty, and he's saying the report was being reviewed when the country was in recession. Then you think about it and say, then when the country was in recession and compared to now, what difference are we?
I don't know. Maybe he needs to give us the estimates. He needs to give us the statistics. Maybe he needs to give us through graphics, illustration. Maybe we can understand better. But you can move ahead to the next story.
This one says, parents trade girls for cows as war hits East Africa. Child marriage is increasing in parts of war-torn South Sudan and drone hits Kenya as parents swap their daughters for cows and goats to survive, campaigners said yesterday. Africa accounts for 9 out of the 10 countries with the highest rates of underage union globally. Advocacy group Girls Not Brides said that the girls marrying due to tradition, family ties, the stigma of pregnancy out of wedlock, and poverty.
Okay, we'll go on this break. We'll allow you continue. Let's go on a break now. And when we come back, we still have some stories and papers to treat this morning. We'll go on a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're still on the newspaper review segment. Yes, you have some stories there.
Still on the New Telegraph, this one says NNPC moves $2.1 billion globally gas market share capture. The federal government has declared plans to capture 10% share by being $2.1 billion of global liquefied natural gas LNG market. Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NPC, Dr. Makanti Baru, who disclosed this while addressing the 27th World Gas Conference in Washington, D.C., United States, on Tuesday, placed the country's aspirations to become the regional gas hub and this 10% LNG market capture. Speaking at a session on the role of gas in power generation under the theme Fueling the Future, Barrow reeled out the enormous potentials of the Nigerian gas resources and their huge contributions to the nation's economy. Now, that is the fact that we are a gas production company, and it only pains me to see when I look at the reports, especially from the Bureau of Statistics, and I don't see what we are supposed to be gaining as regards the profits, the generations, and the likes.
Well,
so
when we talk about generation and what we generate and the rest, I didn't take that in the Punch newspaper this morning where there's a particular story we couldn't take because of, we have loads of stories to take, where the House of Reps accuses Disco for the estimated billings. And you begin to wonder, why are people paying so much? You just have maybe a refrigerator, maybe you just have maybe a fan, and those few bulbs. Now you have a lead light. And at the end of the day, someone is telling you to come and pay 10,000 naira. What have you consumed really? What do you really have? And so when you look at the distribution companies and look at the Discos and the Echoes distribution, you begin to wonder what is happening in this country. Why are we paying so much? You know? The
question right now that we should be asking is, why don't we have prepaid meters? Why don't we have enough prepaid meters? Why is it that then we have been clamoring till now, we have been clamoring for prepaid meters? Because I feel that we all feel, the masses, when we went out for our reports, they feel that this is the way to go. I know that this, once I'm using a prepaid meter, you can't come and just overcharge me or even charge me without me knowing what I have done with power.
Yeah, but you know, again, we need to get ourselves educated. The law is saying if you don't have a prepaid meter and you've been registered, there's a particular receipt they give to you. And with that, if they come, they want to cut your light, they cannot cut your light because they are supposed to give you your meter. So the metering system also is faulty. If you say they're supposed to give me my meter, I'm not supposed to pay, I'm not supposed to get estimated billings without the meter. In Nigeria today, they will cut it off. Except you go to court. And you see, I saw someone that went to court to say, hey, I'm still waiting for you to give me, I've been registered, and you've not given me, and I'm waiting, and I cannot continue with this estimated billings because it's crazy. Where does the funds go to? Someone is just calculating what you did not really consume and taking it to where, for God's sake. And so we need to really look at it. If you look at a company like ours that is run 24 hours, and you want to give us estimated billing, at the end of the month, a company is paying, what are we consuming really that will pay over 500, 600,000? What are we really consuming?
That is the question.
But that's a problem. That's a big challenge we have in the country where a room, they call it, a room self-contained, and you're giving the person 15,000, 25,000, two-bedroom flat, the person is paying 50,000. What is the person? Is it a factory? Is the person an industry? I mean, we should look at it, and I think, I don't know why we have not really stepped our feet, even if we're in partnership with Disco. I think the federal government need to call them, and that's what the legislators are doing right now. Let them call them to book. Let's see what we're consuming. Why are we not having enough light? What are your distribution? What is really happening? And you know, that's for me, I look at our own plans. Honestly, this is, for me, it's uncalled for.
You know, then my heart goes to those that own businesses that depend on power, electricity. You see, well, 2 years ago, lots of companies folded up and left the country because of insufficient power supply. They had to use diesel, and the money, the amount they were spending on diesel was just too much. And then everything you spend, you have to inflate the price money on your goods or your services. But then when you do that, it has affected the economy. So it's not just the power sector or the electricity sector that has been affected, it's the whole economy. It
affects businesses, you know, it affects businesses. And thank God I'm using meter. Because I don't know, honestly, it's more expensive without it. With metering, you'll be able to know what you consume actually. You live in your home, you off the switch of everything.
You can even monitor.
Maybe you just leave the freezers or something, but everything is being switched off. So you can monitor, you can manage your resources with what is coming in. I say, hey, for electricity this month, maybe I will just spend only 5,000. When I tell people what I spend in a month, they said it's not possible. That you're supposed to be spending in Lagos. But you can manage it. And so we're not really blaming the individual. I think Nigerians need to cry out this period. We do not have to be paying someone bringing estimated bills and we're paying for it. I don't think it's right.
Moving on, we have here, Africa needs $90 billion to fix infrastructure. And this is coming from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. A former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, yesterday said that African countries would require an estimated $90 billion to fix infrastructure deficits and bridge the development gaps on the continent. Obasanjo disclosed this yesterday at an investment forum organized by the Gwaswa Institute in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria Studies at the Institute of Africa Studies. The event at the Abuja Forum had as its theme, a new era for China-Africa cooperation.
Okay, the investment. I think that's the last story we'll get from the news telegram. But let's keep saying how partnership with international people works in this country.
And $90 billion is a whole lot of money, though.
We need to actually work together to make Nigeria a better place. But the former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying we need more infrastructure. I think we need it. When you look at even in our local government setting, we need it. We need it. That's the essence of local government. It gets closer to the people. But we'll move away from that and finally, okay, not finally, we take some of the stories here. From the Nation newspaper says, Buhari to check up security. And the writer says, President meets Saraki Dogora. President Muhammadu Buhari is to rejig the country's security system. The House of Representatives Speaker Dogora said yesterday. The president has taken enough steps and told us what he's doing, especially the reconciliation and reorganization that they plan to put in place to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Talking about the massacre at Plateau State. Dogora said President Muhammadu Buhari has already taken enough steps to arrest the deteriorating security situation in the part of the country, adding that he was open to adopting the National Assembly's measures aimed at addressing the worrisome security situation in Nigeria. We also have here court orders for teacher of Desiani's 325.4 million land. Still in the Nation newspaper this morning, killings must stop, says Shoinka. We have this here, Afe Babalola spills for a line Ikogosi spring water. We have here CBN directs banks directors to protect data. You can get more stories in the Nation newspaper this morning. Away from that, we have the Daily Trust.
From the Daily Trust here, it says, police confirms killings of 6 headers in military raid, and that's on page 4. I'll just take the first paragraph. It says, police confirm killings of 6 headers in military raid. Nasarawa State Branch of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has accused the military of extrajudicial killings of Fulani herders and hundreds of cattle in Nasarawa and Benue states. The police in Nasarawa state have confirmed the killings. This one says, PDP accuses APC governors of looting 3.6 billion naira for convention. Another one here says, Nigeria spends 26 million naira importing toothpick in 3 years. 26 million naira importing toothpick. Again, fact meeting ends in deadlock. Second Niger bridge to be completed in 2 years. And
I can't wait for that to be completed. We've been waiting for that for so long. But I pray that, hey, that bridge will be completed so we have another one.
Okay, this one says, Yobe State Governor shuts IDP camps 3 years after. The Yobe State government has closed down the only remaining camp it's officially established for internally displaced persons, IDP camps, in Damaturu, the state capital. The permanent secretary, Yobe State Emergency Management Agency, Musa Idi Jidawa, said the camp, which was officially established in Pompomari area of March 27, 2015, had hosted 6 communities of Juba local government areas. He said, and I quote, "It was established after a midnight attack by insurgents on 6 communities, namely," they gave the name. Jidawa revealed that initially the camp had a total population of 4,221, but 2,897 IDPs voluntarily left. He said the state government has expanded over 140 million naira for feeding, take-off routine, upkeep, and medicals, with special referrals of patients to hospitals within and outside the state.
So is that why they are locking it off? They are knocking it off because they're spending too much on the internally displaced person. But they actually need help, you know, where the insurgents will pursue you away from your residence and you're being camped somewhere. There's this natural trauma that will give to you. You're leaving your house, you're leaving everything behind, and now you are in a camp with other people looking for how you eat, looking for how you manage yourselves. You know, these are very important and things we need to look at. Let's also consider those people that have been displaced.
This one says, ban on codeine has reduced consumption, and this is from the NDLEA. The recent ban on codeine production and consumption by the federal government has drastically reduced illicit drug consumption. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Assistant Commander, Sokoto State Command, Amos Bamidele, stated this yesterday while speaking on his this year's World Drugs Day. That was yesterday.
We tweeted that yesterday, and for me, I think it's very commendable. They just stop it at that time, at the rate at which it was going. They begin to nickname all sorts of things, mixing different drinks together, putting syrup together with alcohol, mixing everything. I think they would just go crazy. And so we need to look at our youth. We have a steaming youth that we must look at the activities. And so when the ban was codeine, I was also looking at the other end. The use of it is to cure a particular ailment.
Yes, yes.
And now you won't get that done. But a doctor corrected me to say there are other cough syrup that doesn't have codeine in it. And so it's the same thing. But I will take a little bit longer to get treated. But you will be treated. So it's better to save lives, to save our youth, than to say you want to take the one that will make you sleep, you know. So it's better, it's all good that we all are putting hands together to make Nigeria a better nation.
Good.
Finally,
high number of uncollected PVCs worries INEC in 2019. The national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, has expressed worry over the high number of uncollected permanent voters card across the country. Yakubu said this on Tuesday in Benin at a one-day national consultative meeting on gender mainstreaming and mitigation of gender-based violence during elections, organized by Women Advocates Research and Documentation Center, Ward C.
Okay, I don't know why you don't want to take your PVC. If you want to retain your candidates, you want to retain who you believe in, you want to retain this administration, you need to get your PVC. It's not just by saying it by mouth that, hey, I believe in what they're doing. You only believe in what they're doing if you get your card, your voter's card. Go and get your voter's card. But if you feel otherwise, hey, this administration is not paying me off. It's not by mouth also. It's for you to go get your PVCs. Without that, nothing can change. Without that, nothing can remain. And so if you want it to remain, you get your PVC. I've said to myself this year that I'm going to get my PVC.
Definitely.
And I have my PVC. So go and get your PVC. Get your PVC. Get your PVC.
Now,
But
right now,
yes.
the last election that was held, as a matter of fact, you would agree with me that that election showed that Nigerian PVCs, our votes actually counted. And then we got the power into place and we started making complaints. The masses have made lots of complaints. But then if we know we want change or we know we are not satisfied with the current government or not, it's only right that we come out and vote. The current government. It's only right that we express our feelings by exercising
Getting your card. That's where we
PVCs.
end this segment, the newspaper review segment. Up next, we want to look at the local government and national development in Nigeria. Before we go on this break, remember when I started, I said the reform was in 1978. It actually was in 1976, and they say slip of tongue. But we'll go on this break now. When we come back, we'll continue with our topic. Please don't go away. Stay with us and be part of this edition. The phone lines will be open for you to call and you can give your suggestion. We'll be right back.
These are tips to help stay strong and healthy. Learn to do stretching exercises when you wake up. It boosts circulation and digestion and eases back pain. Studies have shown that eating a proper breakfast is one of the most positive things you can do if you're trying to lose weight. Breakfast skippers tend to gain weight. A balanced diet includes fresh fruits or fruit juice, a high-fiber breakfast cereal, low-fat milk or yogurt with wheat toast, and a boiled egg. Many people do not know how to brush their teeth properly. Improper brushing can cause much damage to your teeth and gums, as not brushing at all. Lots of people do not brush for long enough, floss, nor see a dentist regularly. Hold your toothbrush in the same way that you would hold a pencil, and brush for at least 2 minutes. This includes brushing the teeth, the junction of the teeth and gums, the tongue, and the roof of the mouth. Get your daily calcium by chugging milk or eating yogurt. It will keep your bones strong. Remember that your bone's density declines after the age of 30. You need at least 200 milligrams daily, which you should combine with magnesium, or it simply would not be absorbed. Tomato is a superstar in the fruit and vegetable pantheon. Potatoes and tomatoes contain lycopene, a powerful cancer fighter. They're also rich in vitamin C. The good news is that cooked tomatoes are also nutritious, so use them in pasta, soups, and casseroles, as well as salads. Tomatoes and apples can reduce the risk of asthma and chronic lung diseases. Both contain the antioxidant courseurin. To enjoy the benefits, eat 5 apples a week or tomato every day. We need at least 90 milligrams of vitamin C per day, and the best way to get this is by
Welcome back. We're looking at the local government and national development. It's very important. Local government was initiated this reform in 1976, and the essence, the aim actually is to accelerate development to the grassroots. Today we have a guest in the studios. We have Tayo Oyemade. He's the Secretary, Local Government in Yaba. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning
to you, sir.
Good morning.
We're looking at local government,
Yes.
and it's important to the people. That means we're looking at grassroots, government without grassroots. To you, what is that relationship?
Well, like you mentioned, local government was established in 1976. Now, if you read Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution, the local government as it is today was established as a third tier of the government to administer the grassroots affairs. So, local government, unlike the state and the federal, has 2 branches: the Legislative Council and the Executive Committee. Now, the Legislative Council is obviously the councillors that are elected in each district or ward, mind you, to serve their communities. The Executive Committee consists of the chairman, the executive chairman of the local government, the vice chairman of the local government, the secretary to the local government, and the supervisors of the local government. Now, the supervisors function as sort of commissioners on the local level. Instead of being in charge of ministries, they're in charge of departments. Now, the councillors, their job basically is to pass bylaws, pass resolutions, do appropriations, which is the budget, and they do oversight, which is the check on the executive. Now, the executive sets policy. Policy of the local government is set by the executive committee. Now, we can go into 2-3 different areas of how that impacts the lives of the community.
Before we get to that end,
Okay.
what are their functions? Because we must know the functions of these people you've mentioned. You mentioned the councillors, you
Yes.
mentioned the chairman, the secretary. What are their functions?
The functions of the councillors, if we take the councillors, they're the legislative council. So what they do is they pass bylaws.
Okay.
Bylaws are where you can park your vehicles, whether you can have double parking, and the local government roads. You know, so those sort of things are bylaws. Then they also do appropriations. Appropriations is how the executive committee spends money, how we use the resources of the government. So they appropriate it, which is how they pass the budget, both on the local, state, and federal level. Now, the function of the of the councillors that's very important, that is not written in the books, but it's something they know, is they act as lobbyists for their communities. So what they do is they would lobby the executive that, okay, we need this in our community, our people need this, then the executive will input that into our policy making so that to execute resources for the people.
Okay, how do you lobby? What is there a place they meet to say, do they usually meet?
That's a good question, Vera. We usually meet, what we do is we have a parliamentary meeting quarterly. So what happens is the executive council, which is the chairman, the vice, and the SLG, will meet with the legislative council. And we sit down and we share ideas, and they tell us these are the needs in their neighborhoods. We will send our head of departments to all those neighborhoods to verify that this is their needs, and we start to execute it in policy.
So how do you meet with the local government council? How do you meet with the people to know their needs, what they want, and how to go about it?
Good question, Anthony. We have monthly stakeholder meetings. What those are is we call the community leaders, we call members of the CDA, which is the Community Development Area, then we call pastors, churches, all the intellectuals of our community. And we sit down, we have a town hall, and we share ideas. People will tell us what they need. We will send our staff from the local government to go verify their needs, and they'll bring back a report on how to execute and solve the problems of our community.
Okay. How much do you make this meeting? Like how many times in a month or a year?
Well, if there are no extravagant situations, what I mean by that is if the local government does not have its legal fiduciary duties, we usually try to do it once a month, but it varies from local government to local government.
Okay, because I know that that's one of the aims is for them to account, you know, demand for people in power to account for whatever they're doing. How do you, how your people in your local government, let's say Yaba local government?
Yes.
Because we also have the state.
Of course.
So how will we know which is supposed to take care of the roads, looking at infrastructure? Because at times they'll tell you this is state road, and this is supposed to be local government road, and this is supposed to be the federal government road. How do we differentiate so that the people will know that, hey, the local government is supposed to do this, and if they're not doing it, they will be held accountable for?
That's a very, very good question. Now, the local government, regardless whether it's a state road, a federal road, it's the local government's fiduciary duty to make sure that the grassroots, the members of its community are well served. So even if it's not the function of the local government to take care of a certain issue, it is the function of the local government to lobby the state or the federal government to take care of those issues. So we don't make a separation, and the people don't have to make a separation whether it's the function of the state, the local government, or the federal. They just want things done. So as far as we're concerned at Yaba local government, we don't care whether it's our duties to get it done. We will make sure that we let the people who it's their duties know that these things are needed in our community. So we as a local government to perform lobbying, we will lobby the federal and we will lobby the state on the needs of our people.
Okay, but now local governments are conversing for autonomy.
Yes.
Do you think this will help the people?
Of course. Autonomy will help the people in two different ways. The first way is resources. When we talk about autonomy, what we're really talking about is allocation of resources. So if the local government is getting, because right now some local governments are paying for all the local government's resources. So if each local government is getting the resources due to them, which is what will happen in autonomy, they would have more resources to take care of their people's affairs. That's one. And number two, autonomy will give more leeway to the chairman of the local government to be able to execute decisions is made without interference from the state or the federal.
Okay, let's talk about allocations.
Yes.
Federal allocations, funds appropriation. Normally, it's being allocated, when funds have been allocated, it goes through the states.
Exactly.
Though there's a single account by the local government.
Yes.
But then it goes through the states.
Yes.
And then the local governments. Would you advise that it goes straight from the federal, from the top, straight down to the local governments concerning the link, if there was some kind of bridge in allocations by the states?
Still looking at autonomy.
Yes, that's still the same logic of autonomy. Now, what my thinking, my own personal thinking is, if you give power to the local government, if you give them power to make decisions for their people, they are the grassroots, they're the ones on the ground. The chairman of the local government knows how many people is in their community more than the governor of a state would do. So if you're giving the resources directly to the local government, what that does is it makes the execution of our decision, our policy making a lot faster. So we can provide services for our people in a lot more efficient and productive way.
Okay, so and in terms of security, we know about the Plateau killings, we know about the recent stake of killings by the headers, and it seems people have been saying, the masses have been saying, okay, the federal government hasn't done enough. So it falls down on the local government to either, protect the lives of its community members. Would you advise there's some sort of official stated policing on the local government?
Obviously, as you know, the policing is a federal issue. Police officers are under the federal government jurisdiction. Definitely. However, in every local government, there's an immigration officer placed in the local government. So, for instance, every month, each local government has a peace and security meeting that consists of the chairman, the secretary to the local government, and all the representatives of each area commands, the DSS, immigration, civil defense, representatives of the Muslim community, representatives of the Christian community. So we have a peace and security meeting every month where we discuss issues of security in our community. Now, the issue of the killings, obviously we do not have that rampant in Lagos, but that doesn't mean we're not concerned about it as a local government. So what we've done is we've advised the immigration officer that was sent to us to go around with our neighborhood watch and see where we have a bunch of, might I say, immigrants. Immigrants is a legal word, but the proper word is aliens. Where they accumulated, because we're starting to have lots of them in community, and most of them are claiming they're from the north. But our immigration officers, based on our intelligence reports, are telling us that no, they're from Niger Republic. So those are the only functions that the local governments can do. They can go into all the black spots in their community and try to root out this problem because before we have the situation that, God forbid, they're having in the other parts of the country.
Okay, I have to take you on this, coming from Yaba local government.
Yes.
Lots of market women are complaining that the levy they collect from them, they don't even know if they are genuine people, if they are touts that are wearing the local government jack, pretending to be from that local government, that is just too much. Is that true?
In some communities, yes.
I'm talking about Yaba.
In Yaba, in Yaba, I'm sure we have those situations in some parts of our community. However, it's not rampant. And those market women know that they can easily go to their local government, place a complaint, and it will be taken care of almost immediately. But
have you nabbed any one of those boys that disguise, or is it true that the levies are just too many?
Now, when we talk about levies, the situation we have in those markets is we have people that represent the union, and we have people that represent the local government. Now, for those market women to differentiate might be the issue, because the local government will collect these levies, rightfully so. But the levies are not paid to so-called area boys. The levies are paid into the local government coffers.
So who takes the levies there?
So the local government coffers, we have
no, I mean from the market women to the local government.
We have revenue collectors.
Okay.
We have revenue collectors that have been assigned proper attire, ID cards, that can identify themselves and that the market women are familiar with. Those are the people that collect revenue on behalf of our local government. Now, what is situational issue that they have with the union? Obviously, that's not in our jurisdiction. But as far as the levies are concerned, our levies in Yaba, they're almost minimal compared to other communities. And they're paid directly to the coffers of the local government through our revenue collectors. And our revenue collectors are highly trained people that are hired by the local government.
The youths in Yaba
Yes.
local government area. I know there are so many youths there. It's
Yes,
like
yeah.
the town hall of the base of youths
Yes.
in Lagos State. But then we know the youth is a voice. We are the people that could talk more. We have the voice. What is the Yaba community doing to strengthen the youth and the voice of the youth in
your area?
in your area?
Well, in our local government, for instance, the youth is a priority. It's a priority because I myself am a youth, and I'm a member of the government. So obviously, I'm going to be a voice for people from my own generation. So we have certain programs that are directed towards the youth itself. I'll go into some of them. Right now, we have vocational scholarships that we give out to the youth. So what happens is we have some dropouts, some of our kids that, dropped out of school. We give them an opportunity to restart their lives. How do we do that? We give them vocational scholarships. They go to a technical college for about two years.
And is that for free?
It's for free.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
admission is free. The forms are free. The only thing you have to provide yourself is transportation to get to school, which should be, motivation to better your life. So when they go through that process, if you graduate from there, you will be in level 11 in Alausa in the state government.
Okay, what kind of vocational are you talking about?
We're talking
Which
about
one
different
are you
types of
doing?
training. We're talking about mechanical,
Okay.
electrical, we're talking about printing, we're talking about tie and dye, we're talking about homemaking, we're talking about
I
hairdressing.
thought you wanted to leave the women out, the
No,
girls
never,
out.
never.
Okay, go ahead.
We're talking about homemaking, we're talking about housekeeping, so many different, what they used to call Ishe Owo. Now we've put it into, Lagos State has done something amazing with those technical colleges. So local governments, if they take advantage of those situations, they'll be able to uproot their youth from the situations they have, and the ones that are motivated to better their lives as long as they have an opportunity. Obviously, we can't force youths to make what they want to make of their lives. Our job is to provide opportunities for them.
Okay, I'm going to take you on education,
Please.
also in the local government area. We know that health, education is very vital in the local government. But let's look at education first. I've been to some local governments, if not all, in Lagos State. Some of their schools are not really too good enough.
Yes.
But let's look at your end, looking at Yaba. Have you provided basic education for them? Did you provide sort of relief for them?
Now, when education has 3 different jurisdictions. It has the federal, the state, and the local. Now, under the local, the only jurisdiction we have over education is in the primary schools.
Yes, we're looking at the primary schools.
What we call elementary, right? Now, for the primary schools, the functions that we can perform for them is to make sure, because they're the most impressionable minds in our community. So the functions we perform for them is to make sure that they have the basic needs, which is the school lunch program.
Okay.
And the eyewear program. What we discovered when we sent our supervisor for education out to go do research in all the 30 primary schools that we have in our jurisdiction, they discovered that we had intelligent children.
So you have 30 schools?
Yes, we have 30 primary schools
Primary
in our
schools.
jurisdiction,
Okay.
which boast about an average of 500 students each. So we're talking about almost 15,000 kids. So the whole idea of these kids is to make sure that they have the necessities in order to grow their minds. And their necessities are not much. They want to go to school healthy and hearty in order to learn. And how do we do that? We make sure that we're coordinating with those primary schools as well as SUBEB, because SUBEB is really the one that has the administrative jurisdiction over the primary schools. So we coordinate with SUBEB, and we try to provide some after-school programs, for the children that are always roaming around when they finish school. We try to provide after-school programs where they can learn different methods of creativity, whether it's drawing, painting, singing, dancing, just things to keep their mind active. Another thing we figured out when we sent some of our officials out to go do research in the school was that we had a lot of kids that had problems with glasses, but their parents couldn't afford it. So we partnered with non-governmental organizations, and we were able to provide about 2,000 students
Are you
with
saying?
eyewears.
Are you saying providing all of these things for students in Yaba?
Yes.
You're a bit comfortable with everything in Yaba. Do you need?
Obviously, we need to do more. We need to do more. It's continuous improvement. There's no way we can get it perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. But at least if we get it right enough, where a large percentage of our community, our children, are going to school without thinking about their security. They're going to school without thinking about whether they've eaten today or not. And they're going to school without being ashamed of who they are. As long as we've done that as a local government, we've done.
So you're saying
most
in
of the work.
Lagos, the Yaba local government feeds their students? Do they feed?
We have some lunch programs. And
Okay.
so for the children that cannot afford it, they can apply in our local government and we provide that.
Lot for them.
Yes.
Okay, still on education,
Yes.
we know Yaba local government is one community that has universities.
Yeah, we're the citadel of knowledge
Yes,
in Nigeria. Yes.
exactly. Now, how has all of that affected the community?
That is, it's. I wouldn't say affected. It's improved our community. We've been blessed enough to have Unilag and Yaba Tech in our local government. What that means is almost anybody that has graduated from University of Lagos or from Yaba Tech has either lived or passed through Yaba. Some of them have decided to stay. So we have a lot of human capital that we can put to use in order to get more productivity out of our local government.
Okay, comment, okay.
So the point I was going to is the way it benefits is, we always make a joke that even our area boys have an HND because everybody in Yaba understands that if you want an education, you can see the schools right there, right in front of you. Now what you need is the opportunity.
Despite the schools, we have lots of schools that we see here of area boys terrorizing some communities, but that's not what I'm going to. I'm going to housing. You can see that Yaba is a bit closet, you know,
Yes.
it's a bit crowded. And how do you intend to help in housing?
Now, what we can do with housing, the only thing we can do with housing, because that's really a state function, the only thing we can do with housing is we can make sure that we act as a mediator between the landlord and the tenants, right? So we have landlords that obviously, because they know Unilag is here, Yaba Tech is here, we have other different things that bring people to Yaba. There might be some rent gouging. So what we do is if we know something like that is going on, we send a report to the state.
Okay, are you not planning to get housing for people, maybe at affordable cost? Because I know some local governments are doing that right now. Are you not planning that?
And to be honest with you, in Yaba, we don't have that much land.
Land, okay.
That's the issue. Because it's such a metropolis that, you know, to even find a plot in Yaba it's difficult. And if you find one, they're asking for maybe prices that are 20% less than what they would charge you if you just cross the bridge to the Victoria Island. So when it comes to us being able to have lands to provide housing, that's not feasible. But what we can do as a community is to make sure that housing is affordable. So we'll make sure that we're monitoring the owners of these properties to make sure that they're not gouging members of our community.
Okay, like you said Yaba local government is the hub of education in Lagos State.
Yes.
And then we look at other local government areas. Would you advise that each local government in Lagos has a focus? Maybe that local government is focused on agriculture, this, ICT, and the likes.
Many local governments have their own different resources. Like if you go to for the East, they have things that they generate revenue from. Our local government believes in human capital because, like I said, we've been blessed with a university and the first polytechnic in Nigeria. So we know we have a lot of smart people. So all we need in our community is human capital. Through that human capital, we'll have a lot of initiatives that create development for our people. So, for instance, we're the first local government to have an interactive website for our community, where you can go on the website and you can ask questions of the councillors, of the supervisors, of the chairman and of the vice chairman.
Before you start asking questions, won't you learn how to use the computer first? Have you been teaching people how to go through that?
Yes, that's part of our vocational training. We do that almost quarterly.
Okay, we'll go on this break now, and when we come back, we still have the secretary to the local government, Yaba. We'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
We're also looking at local government and national development, and we still have our guests in the studios. Looking at local government and national development, do you think we are doing the right things when you look at it? Is it affecting people positively?
Yes. That's obviously I'm part of a government, so I'm biased.
You would say yes.
I would say yes.
I wasn't expecting you to say
I would say yes.
But we want to be sincere without being biased.
This is why I'm saying yes. Why I'm saying yes is this. In the last 5 years, we've had so much development in Lagos that even local governments that are not functioning properly, the state, the overexuberance of the state is covering up for them. His Excellency, Ambode is doing so much work when it comes to development that even local governments that cannot afford normally to develop that fast are developing. And when you have development, you have increase in commerce. If I can get to work faster, that means I'm going to be more productive. If I can get home from work faster, that means I'm going to spend more time with my family. That increases commerce. That changes those people's social lives. It changes our welfare, it changes our way of life, it changes who we are. So that's why the development is important. That's why I believe, at least in Lagos, it's been a positive outcome.
I don't know what you call that junction, and I don't know why it's this crowded. And you begin to wonder, why is this local government not helping out? If you're going towards the Lagos Island, you pass the Butemeta, not that end anyway, from before you get to Costain, looking at that Oyinbo junction, it's a bit too crowded, maybe because of the market people in that the market is resident in that area. What are you guys doing to make it a bit freer so that people can have access to the road? Because you see the market women put their wear on the road, and the local government agencies are just there and nothing is done.
Okay, when it concerns Oyinbo specifically, Oyinbo market is under the jurisdiction of Lagos Mainland 1, which is Butemeta. It's not under Yaba.
Okay.
It's under Lagos Mainland, but I can speak a little bit for them.
Okay.
What they're going to be doing, as you can see, they're building a
bus stop?
a bus terminal there.
Yeah.
So what happens is, as soon as that infrastructure is completed, all that place will be cleared out. So the construction is negatively affecting how the market women are placed, so it's pushing traffic onto the roads. But like I said, as soon as that construction is completed, you see.
Okay, also for Yaba, there's another swamp. You get to suburb in that area.
You mean Makoko?
Makoko.
Yes.
What is happening there right now?
Well, right now in Makoko, we like to call it Mactown, right? In Makoko, that's our riverside, that's our waterside area. That's where our local government is spending at least 20% of its resources.
What are you planning there?
Right now, we're constructing a PHC, Public Health Clinic, which is going to be commissioned by the governor, God willing, next month. We're constructing a road as we speak, which is 80% complete. That's going to link Makoko to Iwaya, to Abule, to all the major areas of our community. So there's lots of health programs that we always make sure when we're doing a program, we launch it in Makoko, right? So there's different things that we're doing in there, but as far as infrastructure is concerned, by next month they will have a new healthcare center, so they don't have to go as far as Iwaya to get it. We're going to have a healthcare center for them in Aito. There's going to be an advanced PHC, where they're going to be doing things there that they don't do in normal health centers.
But are you taking advantage of the water side? Because I know that loads of fishermen are there. Are we taking advantage? What are you doing in regards of that riverine area?
In the works, we have a jetty program that we're coming up with, where we're going to have ferries coming in and using the place for loading and offloading, whether it's their fisheries or whatever they have in stock for them. So what we're going to be using that place for, they're doing something similar in Baiga, to be honest, so in the larger community. Yes. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a similar program where it's almost going to be like a jetty community. So that's where most of our ferries will be docking, that are bringing people, whether it's from the island onto the mainland.
In Yaba local government, there are streets and communities and semi-estates that get locked as early as 10.
Yes.
And because of security reasons, of course.
Yes.
And most times it gets very difficult to pass through after the gates have been locked. Two questions in one. One, do these streets have the right constitutionally? And two, isn't this too early for, I mean, we have people that come home as late as 11, 12.
Now, like you said, those gates that were put in the middle of the roads were created because of security issues, right? Now, the CDA, the Community Development Association, they're the ones that decide, and they're under the jurisdiction of the local government. But to answer your question, yes, they do have a right. But what they do is the securities of those gates are members of the community. So what they try to do is they know who is coming in and who's coming out. So if you're coming home late from work, I'm sure you shouldn't have a problem getting into your community if it's your cousin or your brother or your childhood friend that's the security at the gate. So, but when we have situations, we have had situations. We had a situation at Oyadiwa Estate where, you know, some people were erecting acts and doing different things to differentiate themselves within the estate. And they brought the issue to the local government, and the local government sent a report to the state, and the state has made its resolution. So the directive was for us to go get rid of the act and tell the community to liaise together and have their meetings and keep peace. But what we try not to do as a local government is to dictate to our people. We're not there to dictate to them. We're there to make their lives easier.
Okay, looking at local government and the federal government, because it's very important right now, lots of those local governments are saying we do not have enough resources, and this is part of their responsibility to administer to the grassroots level.
Yes.
But they are saying they don't have enough resources to still help out despite the challenges, the economic situation in this country. Is it that they don't have enough, or once they have, they are spending it for themselves or for the people? I need you to clear that.
I'll clear it by speaking for our local government.
Okay.
All right. At Yaba local government, you never heard the chairman or myself or the vice chairman complain about resources. Because every local government will tell you they don't have enough resources. Every state government will tell you they don't have enough resources, because you never have enough resources for all the ideas you have. That's just a basic fact of life. So what our job is to manage the resources we have and make sure we administer it to our people in the most effective way.
So how do you generate funds?
We generate funds in different ways. Obviously, we have allocation that comes in directly from the federal government, and we also have something called an IGR, which is the internally generated revenue.
How do you do
So
that?
the way we generate funds is based on the resources we have in our community. So we will generate funds from Sabo Market through levies. We will generate funds from street parking. We will generate funds from the cemetery we have.
Okay,
right?
yes, you have one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have different ways in which we generate funds. We generate funds from all the bars, all the hotels, and all the nightclubs we have through their liquor licenses. We generate funds from the media houses we have through the TV and radio licenses. So there's different ways in which we will generate funds. It's how you manage
And
those
you've not started using us. Thank God he's here today. He got himself shot. Thank God he's here today. You've not started using us. We need you to come here. Let's discuss business, because we need to expose the Yaba local government. They need that exposure. We need the government, the state government, to know, to also see what you're doing,
Yes.
and also the federal government. That will also help. Yes, go ahead.
Well, with that being said...
Commitment from you right now. People are watching.
With that being said, since you're putting me on the spot, what I would say to you is, I'm here right now representing the local government, and I'll make sure that this would not be the first or the last time. And we would, after today, we'll try to coordinate together, so you can also publicize
A lot of things
awareness and the things that we
Yes.
need our people of our community to know.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way street. The
Yes.
relationship,
Yes.
yeah, obviously it's a transactional relationship, but it's also a two-way street.
Okay, go
Look,
ahead.
let's
You
talk
wanted to ask a
about
question.
electricity.
Yes.
We did a report and a voice pop, and yes, including Yaba local government, they've complained about overestimated billings. And it's like the prepaid meter has not been disposed generally to that area. What are you doing to fix that cost?
Well, as you know, the federal government is the one in charge of NEPA, or National Electric, whatever it's called. Yes. Our former governor is the one in charge of that ministry on the federal level, the Governor Fashola. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's improved compared to how it was years ago. However, when it comes to the billing and stuff,
Estimated billing.
yeah, when it comes to the estimated billing, they have opportunities to be able to go to the nearest NEPA station and complain about their billing, but that's not the jurisdiction of the local government.
Are you saying you cannot help out? Are you saying you cannot gather them together and educate them on what to do as a local government?
Obviously, if they come to the local government and say we need help with this, we will send them to the department.
Good.
We'll send them to the works department, to the Department of Works, and the supervisor for works, as well as our council engineer, will be able to, educate them on this is what you should look at, this is what you should emphasize, and this is how you can complain.
Okay, we're about rounding up, but I want us to look at what we started with, that Anthony asked you concerning security, and we're rounding up with that. Looking at what is happening in the northern, but there's a caller here. Let's get this caller. Hello, Daniel. Good morning to you. From Yaba, I'm sure. Good morning to you, Daniel. Good morning to you.
Hello, I'm also contribute about the president of that way.
Okay, go ahead, Daniel. Yes.
they don't very well for police for that, and I don't know where that one is coming from.
I think we didn't hear when you started talking, when you were speaking with. Okay, I guess you're going to call us because we didn't hear what you started talking, but I know he's at police and the rest.
Yes, I heard adequately, but I couldn't make out what it was really saying.
But I'm sure your people will call him from Yaba to tell you. But looking at what is happening in Nigeria now, recently the IG was instructed, the AIG was directed to the airport because of the threat they had. But looking at security in Nigeria right now, what are you doing to educate people in your local government concerning security?
The number one thing the members of our community can do, of every community, all over the world do when it comes to security is, if you see something, say something. This is the most important thing, because obviously there's not enough surveillance in this world that's going to let us know what they're doing in every corner of our community. So we need members of our own community to be proactive. If they see something, say something. If you see something suspicious, say it. Go to the nearest police station and say it. And I'm sure the police officers will respond. And if they don't respond, take it to a higher level. Go to your local government and tell them that you have this situation in your community, and we will respond as a local government.
For your local government, have you converged to discuss this?
Yes, this is some security issues are something we discuss in every stakeholder meeting. Security is life. That's how we protect our families. That's how we protect ourselves. So this is something we discuss at every stakeholder meeting we have to educate our people.
Okay, as regards bilateral relationship, coming down to the local governments, which other local governments are you working in close hands with to make the states move forward? Okay,
for instance, we just did a green walk that was sponsored by the United Nations in conjunction with the Keja local government. What that was just basic education of recycling. So we're educating people how they could recycle their tires, their bottles of water, how they could reuse products that they just toss out.
And make monies from it.
Exactly, because it's a big part of the economies in different parts of the world, but we've not started to take advantage of that in Nigeria. So through the state government and United Nations, we've been doing a lot of awareness to our people in regards to, how we keep the environment clean, how we recycle, and how we do different things.
So what will you say to the state government now, so federal government? What do you need in your local government you think they need to focus on right now? We're wrapping up this.
For the federal government, what they need to do is the security issue. The security issues, it's starting to become psychological. So, and we don't want a society based on fear. So I'm appealing to the federal government to do more when it comes to the security issues. But as far as I'm concerned, the state government...
I want to contribute about that crazy thing on that the way outreach. I'm actually very happy around that area, the way the local government, they come to collect money from the market people for no justice. They see money for police, sometimes they see money for the soldiers and the parents. Sometimes they see money for railway, whatever, and it's not meant to be so. Why they pay money for space? The government is meant to do something about it. I don't know.
Dare, I didn't follow you from the beginning. Dare, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, can you repeat what you just said?
Okay, I should repeat what I said.
We didn't hear that.
Those areas, they want to extract money from the market people.
Area police?
Area boys.
Oh, area boys, okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes, area boys around that area.
What area?
That's that will be.
Okay. Okay.
Very close to the Central Market.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes. You heard him?
Yeah, I heard him. No, we discussed this earlier.
Yeah, maybe he didn't tune in there.
No. It's actually my basic duty as the secretary to the local government to make sure that our revenue collectors are sent out, they're well identified to collect revenue for the local government. Now, if you have area boys that are affecting that revenue collection, if I'm aware of that, I will send the security details to flush them out. This is a very basic thing. It's
Maybe you need to educate people right now, telling them what they need to
so
if
you have a situation in part of our community where you're being disturbed by area boys and it's affecting your way of life, report it to the secretary to the local government and it will be taken care of.
Okay, and you asked a question in rounding off.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about still the electricity and all of that. And you said, yes, it's the job of the federal government and all of that, but then there are other things that the local governments can also do to, you know, help the situation of power.
What we can do, the only function that I see that local government can perform when it comes to that is educating our people, educating them on how to save energy, because that's part of it. You know, most people would leave their light on the whole day, then they will complain about their electricity.
No, but this is estimated billings. You save or not, it's going to come.
Yes, it's going to come. And like I said, that is the federal government. This is, you know, this is their jurisdiction.
So
education. So we just have to educate them that this is what this billing means and this is the ways you can go about alleviating them. Okay,
we need to wrap up now, but before Derek called in, we're talking about what you think the federal government needs to do to assist or to aid the local government. From you.
More resources will help. I'm sure you hear that from every local government. More resources will help. However, as long as the federal government, which is really in charge of security of the country, as long as they're keeping our people safe, the state government and the local government will do the rest.
I want to thank Tayo Oyemade, the Secretary to Local Government Iyaba. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. Well, but don't forget, you promised that you will be taking some of your adverts.
Yes, I will take you guys.
Okay, thank you for coming. We'll go on this break now, and when we come back, Superdawn will continue.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
These are tips to help stay strong and healthy. Learn to do stretching exercises when you wake up. It boosts circulation and digestion and eases back pain. Studies have shown that eating a proper breakfast is one of the most positive things you can do if you're trying to lose weight. Breakfast skippers tend to gain weight. A balanced diet includes fresh fruits or fruit juice, a high-fiber breakfast cereal, low-fat milk or yogurt with wheat toast and a boiled egg.